The material that they've gathered already, it's a tremendous amount of material. And I think within a matter of weeks, or certainly within a matter of months, they're going to be able to have a nuclear weapon. We can't let that happen.
What intelligence do you have that Iran is building a nuclear weapon? Your intelligence community has said they have no evidence that they are at this point.
Well, then my intelligence community is wrong. Who in the intelligence community said that?
Your director of national intelligence, Tulsi Gabbard.
She's wrong.
It's shockingly like hypocritical, and in a normal era with normal politics, this would be like an insane scandal on its own. But essentially, yeah, Tulsi Gabbard has said correctly there's no evidence from American intelligence that they are pursuing a nuclear weapon. And then Trump got the call from Netanyahu and the MIC, and they were like, listen, buddy, we're going to do this, so you better like play ball. And Trump was like, yes, sir. Anything you want, sir. Want me to eat your ass, sir? Want me to shine your shoes, sir? And then he was asked this, and he was like, no, actually, Tulsi Gabbard, director of American intelligence, is wrong. Yeah, sorry, the combined information, the intelligence network of the CIA and the NSA, and God only knows what our satellites are up to, all of that is wrong, okay? But my, like, unnamed source, I really wish the reporters would ask, where'd you get this intel from? If not American intel, where'd you get this intel from? Because if you could get Trump on TV to say, I'm not listening to my intelligence, okay, Netanyahu told me they have it, that would be really funny. It probably wasn't Netanyahu, though. It was probably some, like, deep state ghoul, or maybe, like, a liaison between Trump and the deep state ghouls, you know what I mean? Like, they wouldn't talk to Trump directly because Trump's an idiot. They would talk to, like, Miller or something, or and they would, like, funnel, you know what I mean? I hope Tulsi gets him back for disrespect to the department. Why would... Oh, sorry. Why would she do that? Why would she do that? We have the Netanyahu statement.
Congratulations, President Trump. Your bold decision.
Addressed directly to Trump, because the best way to get him to do what you want him to do is just to tell him he's a good boy.
To target Iran's nuclear facilities with the awesome and righteous might of the United States will change history. In Operation Rising Lion, Israel has done truly amazing things. But in tonight's action against Iran's nuclear facilities, America has been truly unsurpassed. It has done what no other country on earth could do. History will record that President Trump acted to deny the world's most dangerous regime the world's most dangerous weapons. His leadership today...
It's so embarrassing, dude. Again, I'm sure you know this, or at least a lot of you know this, or maybe you're too young to know. It's actually really, really weird for an address congratulating a leader on a military strike to be addressed directly to that leader. Like, in a normal society, between normal countries, this would be like the state of Israel thanks the United States for their assistance on this matter. That would be, that, like, for basically, like, all of modern history. That's more or less how this would go. Even in fascist regimes, that's how this would go. You know what I mean? Like, even with, like fascists obsess over the power of the state. So, like, even people like Mussolini or Hitler would talk, you know, as though the state of Germany, the fatherland, you know, they're like they're people. This weird, like, thank you, Trump. Thank you, Trump shit is, like, so trying to get written into the will.
Today has created a pivot of history that can help lead the Middle East and beyond to a future of prosperity and peace. President Trump and I often say, peace through strength. First comes strength, then comes peace. And tonight, President Trump and the United States acted with a lot of strength. President Trump, I thank you. The people of Israel thank you. The forces of civilization thank you. God bless America, God bless Israel, and may God bless our unshakable alliance, our unbreakable faith.
He didn't even mention the American troops. Just like this, like this would be considered like a grave insult in the before times. It's a kind of like, what was the term just used in chat? Gangsterism. That is just normally not used at this level. This, like, very obvious, underhanded, wheel and deal, like, I scratch your back, you scratch mine. We're just a bunch of, like, kingmakers playing on a chessboard kind of deal. Like, you're supposed to pretend. I guess I appreciate the honesty. Do you think this will shake MAGA? I think it has the potential to, at least with some people. But Trump's popularity has been declining rapidly for some time now. Like, he's pretty under the water on a lot of issues. So, you know, it's death by 1,000 cuts. Not really, Fox already on it. Yeah, but most Republicans aren't getting their news from Fox, right? Especially young ones. Like, young ones are going to get their news from Joe Rogan or whatever the f. And like, I don't know. I just don't imagine the average Joe Rogan viewer being that inclined to like, dude, did you hear we got involved in another war in the Middle East? Yes! Like, I just don't think... I mean, it will work for a lot of them. But if even 1% of Trump supporters get disillusioned by this, that's a lot of people. It's over 1 million people. Well, a little less than 1 million people. Mike Johnson. Yeah, Mike Johnson was praising this. House GOP leaders praised Trump's strike on Iran as America First policy in action. Fantastic. Oh, you love to see it. It's all such a joke to these people. Thomas Massey said it was unconstitutional. Yeah. He likes to say shit like that. I'm not... How do you relate this news of U.S. bombing Iran on the Tucker Cruise interview? Well, it's kind of prescient, isn't it? Cruise is a Nazi, or at least pretends to be one, and is popular with Nazis and very far-right people, and they just don't want to go to war with Iran. Largely because they're anti-Semitic, but also to an extent because they're very weary of what they see as like institutionalized deep state politics, which is always very keen on going to war in the Middle East, you know? You mean Tucker? I said Cruz? Tucker, just look, replace whatever words I said with the ones that make sense and roll with that, okay? How did I get 12 hours of sleep last night and still wake up feeling exhausted, okay? I don't want to deal with you people. I didn't mean to stream today, okay? I got the text. The text said you should stream, and I streamed, okay? Same reason I came up here on Jan 6. Almost impossible to imagine Iran's supreme leader won't respond. That's great.
I want to put the statement by President Trump up on the screen. He says in a Truth Social post, "We have completed our very successful attack on the 3 nuclear sites in Iran, including Fordo, Natanz, and Esfahan. All planes are now outside of Iran airspace. A full payload have been waiting for reports that perhaps the damage was worse than it actually was. The electrical supply to the centrifuges at the Natanz facility were cut. With that electrical supply was cut. I spoke to the head of the IAEA who said he believed that would have caused some of the centrifuges.
The United States has used a lesser bomb known as the mother of all bombs, which is in Afghanistan. That bomb is actually not the mother of all bombs if you consider the GBU-57, because it is smaller than this 30,000-pound bunker-busting bomb, which would, every expert has said, would be the bomb that you would use for the Fordo facility. At this stage,
did you guys see that New York Times editorial that was like manufacturing consent by saying that the bunker buster bomb that only we possess and can use was like the square peg to the square shaped hole in Iran, you know? It was like only an American B-2 with an American bunker buster bomb could possibly strike this facility, just letting you know.
Don't know that they have actually used that. We don't have confirmation from the military, but presumably that would indeed be the weapon of choice for this facility.
The thing about those bombs is that they can penetrate deep through concrete, deep through fortifications. The question is, would you need to hit with multiple of those bombs in the exact same spot to really get to the depths that we're talking about? I mean, there's estimates of how deep the Fordo facility goes, and I've seen a variety of them, but it's extensive. I mean, it is very deep in this mountain.
Without a doubt. And you not only have the mountainous...
It really wouldn't surprise me if they built that facility like way the fuck underground, you know? Like 200 feet. I don't think Iran would build that facility at a depth that a single bunker buster could take it out. Like at the very least, you would need to like stack a few shots on top.
Structure, you know, the natural fortification that is provided in this facility, but there's also been some analysis that there is likely some reinforced concrete as well. So you have the mountain itself, but then you may also have reinforced fortifications for this facility itself, and that's why most experts have said it would likely take multiple runs of these GBU-57s, known as these 30,000-pound bunker-busting bombs, to be dropped over this facility. I do think that it is interesting that we are also talking about U.S. strikes, according to the president, on these 2 other nuclear facilities as well. And that, you know, all the attention has been focused on this Fordo facility, which is where the United States was needed in order to destroy that facility. But the fact that President Trump authorized strikes on these 2 other nuclear facilities as well indicates that he really wanted to make sure that this job was done. And this is an attempt by the United States, by President Trump, to truly eliminate the entire Iranian nuclear program, and that just cannot be understated.
Particularly the site at Isfahan. My understanding is that there were large reservoirs of nuclear fuel there, and that during the initial the initial attack a week ago, that site had not been struck, and there had been some thought that perhaps that was intentional to kind of give options to the Iranians.
That's right.
Kind of a window to have a diplomatic effort.
I mean, we haven't even talked yet about the enormous head fake here from President Trump. I mean, you know, in just the last few days, President Trump talked about giving the Iranians 2 weeks, right? 2 weeks for diplomacy to run its course.
He always said within 2 weeks.
How much have we watched so far without a single mention of like, this is illegal, this is insane? I f***ing hate journalism so much, man. It must be crazy, like to go into school for journalism and you're like, I would like to learn more about the world and reveal the truth to people. And then it turns out that being a journalist these days is just like you get handed a fact sheet about whatever insane, unethical, illegal thing is taking place, and then you just have to read out loud from it. Like you can't have any opinions.
Within 2 weeks.
And he goes live, we'll watch it.
But that was the headline, and the impression that he was giving was that there was time. He was giving the impression that there was time to negotiate a deal with Iran, and now he has decided to take military action. And the question is, when he talked about nearly 2 weeks, was he indeed trying to give the Iranians that impression in order...
Can Iran even respond to this in a meaningful capacity? Not really. They can shell U.S. bases, but apart from that, no. It's like... The problem is that the kind of response that Iran would be prompted to do is the most expensive kind, which is, do you have overwhelming air superiority? Do you have huge amounts of like guided munitions? Do you have missiles? Do you have, you know, do you have like very, very, very expensive guided weapons, which like they do, they have some, not much, not compared to us, not compared to Iran, you know. Overwhelmingly, Iran's military power is in having a large standing army and a bunch of Islamic militia groups that they control, or at least guide, direct. Bro, he's late. He's always late. What about covert attacks on U.S. soil? Why? Don't stop buying the Republican propaganda that there's 5 million deep state, like, you know, deep cover agents from Iran.